welcome to another isometric RPG called Pillars of Eternity 2. I know that we haven't quite finished Pathfinder or the Righteous yet, at least DLC, but too much Pathfinder. Around 150 hours already, and I need fresh air. So Starship Troopers was a cool game, and now we're going to dive into another world. Real time with pause mode, real time pause mode. Classic Deadfire game mode where combat progresses in real time. Classic mode of play, faster action oriented, blah. Recommended for players that enjoy classic. Okay, yes. Difficulty. Story, relaxed, classic, veteran, Path of the Damned. I have no idea if this game is difficult. I read about Pathfinder before I played it, and people said it's ridiculously difficult. I do not intend to play this with mods/cheats, so let's go for the classic experience. Who wanted to hire standard combat challenge? Since I'm not sure if this game is difficult or ridiculously difficult with RNG, I'm not going for veteran or Path of the Damned yet. Classic. What is Trial of Iron? Only one safe? No. No. Level scaling. Consistent level of challenge to players when exploring Deadfire. When enabled, enemies within a scene will adjust their level up or down depending on the player's character level. No. Not interested in that. Start game.
Aora, a world where mortals live, die, and are reborn through the turning of the wheel. The cycle of reincarnation watched over by the gods, and made possible through pillars of a mystical substance known as Audra. 5 years ago, you traveled from your home to the Deerwood, a nation that had waged war against the incarnated god of light, Aethys, resulting in his destruction. The country suffered from a plague of hollowborn, infants born without souls, that many believed was punishment for killing a god. In an ancient, secluded ruin, you witnessed a secret ritual that inadvertently transformed you into a watcher, one who can see and speak with souls. The ritual also gave you horrible visions, waking nightmares of a past life that threatened your sanity. To put them to rest, you pursued the man who had led the ritual, a seemingly immortal agent of the gods, known as Theos Ix Arcanon. With divine assistance, you confronted and defeated Theos, ending your visions and resolving the Hollowborn crisis. In so doing, you also learned the great secret that Theos had protected. That the ancient empire of Anguith had transformed themselves into gods. Your visions finally put to rest, you retired to the castle of Cadnua, built atop a massive statue of pure Audra, where you ruled in relative peace and prosperity.
Are we supposed to play Pillars of Eternity 1 first? Is it the story of the first game, or is it just a random story about the second game? If you know, please tell me.
Made a nice story. You fixing up that old keep? Lifting the curse? Must have told it 100 times. But something got to gnawing at me. Thinking the spirits there weren't really at rest. But maybe the gods weren't finished with us. god came back. Will you forgive us? Last the trouble with dreams. Sooner or later, we all have to wake up.
And so you wake to a sleepless world, the in-between of life and death. Follow your memories. You have been here before.
Okay, we're not supposed to go back. Interesting ending, beginning of a game. We're dead, we just died. Okay.
You have seen past the shroud. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
A watcher sees souls, knows their pasts, and the souls see them back.
A dubious honor, inheriting a fortress both broken and cursed.
What is a god? A higher power? A rewarder of good deeds and punisher of the wicked?
The gods aren't real, but something else entirely. Something created by people.
And did you ever consider that these were things you were never meant to understand? That their comprehension is beyond you?
Let the world see. Let them decide what to do.
The wheel has turned again, Watcher. Come.
An aged dwarf shares this strange floating platform with you. His face is creased by so many wrinkles that his features lie buried amid shadowy pockets of skin. Still, the dwarf's well-practiced habits have left telltale tracks of a welcoming rictus across his visage. You can see his smile coming before it blooms, reshaping the dwarf's face from a hanging sack of flesh into something resembling an oddly carved, merry gore, replete with unhealthy bumps and discolored splotches.
Sit. Please.
Ah, so we can also defy her and talk whilst standing. Let's see what happens if I do that.
Sit. Please. Thank you for joining us, Watcher of Cadnua.
The gaunt woman seated at the table is clad in time-worn black armor that seems too massive for her to move in.
So first, I like the fact that they also voice these passive descriptions. Pathfinder, Pathfinder 2 didn't do it. Cadnua was a wooden castle built over the ruins of the endless paths of Otnua. Considered cursed, few ventured into its halls, and even fewer made any effort to hold the castle or the lands around it. You became the de facto lord of the castle after defeating its previous master, the Watcher called Merwald. As the Watcher of Caed Nua, you ruled the stronghold until it was destroyed by Eodas. The God of Light occupied the Edra body of Maros Nua beneath the castle and pulled itself out of the ground, destroying it in the process.
A pale, slender neck rises from the gorget, topped by a hollow face. The milky skin stretched across it is delicate and translucent, like parchment that has been scraped clean too many times. She's preoccupied with the arrangement of cards on the table between you. With each movement, her armor squeaks and groans as though bearing an incredible weight. She places a final card, gives a nod of satisfaction, and raises her eyes to meet yours.
Your brush with the divine has drained you of your powers, fractured your memories. Look upon these cards. They represent the courses of your life. You alone know best how they flowed. Arrange them to fit what you remember.
Okay, so this is obvious. Apparently, this game remembers or cares about the story of the first Pillars of Eternity. And now, since we have no save game from Pillars of Eternity 1, we can just choose whatever we want. Examine the cards to choose your legacy. Histories. Select which history took place during Pillars of Eternity, or select a Pillars of Eternity endgame save to import. If you wish to create a custom history, you may do so from options. Whoa, interesting. What is Benevolent Soul? Do we have an explanation here? In Pillars of Eternity, you return the lost Hollowbone souls to the Drywood's children, as you had pledged to Hilaire. You were kind and merciful to people you encountered, sympathetic to their pain, and charitable to those who needed help. Hollowbone, We have, okay. Oh, Deerwood. A colonial... One moment. Deerwood. A colonial nation founded by settlers from the Aedir Empire. Following a series of conflicts with Aedir, the territory became independent in 2672 AI, and is now ruled by a duke, who is elected by 7 earls that oversee its earldom. Hilaire, goddess of the sky, we had made a pledge to Hilaire, and we were given the choice to keep it or not. Maternity, creativity, birds, song, invention, language, and the arts. Well, she, it's quite the repertoire. Not known to take a particular physical form, but thought to be present in birds of all kinds. Fair and balanced. Okay. Return the spawn to the wheel. As you had pledged to Beirath. Oh, okay, so we... Okay, no. So we were able to make a pledge to a specific god. Okay. Thus, most other choices were judicious and balanced, tempered by rational thought and fairness rather than sympathy or emotion. A god of death, cycles, doorways, mortality, and inevitability. The keeper of the cycle of life and death, Beirath is sought to seek to claim the lives of those who have lived past their time. According to folklore, Beirath is seen most often in the form of the Pallid Knight. Oh! The one we're talking to right now? The god of death? Well, it makes sense. Or the Usher, 2 skeletal characters who lead such people to their death by way of challenge or trickery. The survival of the fittest. Used the souls of the Hollowborn to strengthen the Durwood as he had pledged to Galawain. What? Galawain? God of the hunt, assassins, pursuit, wilderness, and predatory creatures. Sometimes thought to take the form of a fur-clad hunter or of a great hound, Galawain favors the survival of the strong and the culling of the weak. Most other choices were made to strengthen you or your allies, while punishing and weakening your enemies. Dark times. You consigned the souls of the Hollowborn to oblivion, as you had pledged to Rimgurgand. Then, god of entropy, cold, winter, bad luck, famine, and natural disasters, manifests as a giant albino aurochs, moving amidst a great blizzard, and in the plodding footsteps of Wyrmgrand come death and disintegration. Keeper of secrets, you pledge to consign the souls of the Hollowborn to oblivion, as Wyrmgrand requested. Interesting. Consign the souls to oblivion, okay. But he ultimately gave the souls to Werdica. Ah. You supported maintaining the god's secrets as well as your own. Goddess of justice, law, oath, promises, rulership, vengeance, memory, and hierarchies. Depicted as an old noblewoman bearing a broken crown upon her head, said to have once ruled over the other gods, but has since been overthrown. Everything bad. You did everything wrong. You pledged you pledged to do the bidding of every god, and then scattered the souls of the Hollowborn to a random location. You got every companion killed. You got the worst outcome for every quest. If there is a mistake you could have made while still resolving the Hollowborn crisis, you made it. Not suggested for new play. Maybe there's some sort of secret ending. Okay. Worst outcome for every quest. Well, that's a mighty achievement. So either way, going Keep of Secrets sounds interesting, even though I'm not sure which secrets these are. And fair and balanced. Or benevolent soul. Return the lost to the wheel. Deal with children. So usually I'm playing a mix between sympathetic, charitable, and on the other hand rational and fair. So do I choose fair and balanced or benevolent? I guess it depends which god we want. Hilaire, god of the sky, or the god of death. Yeah, but I'm not the biggest fan of the name, Bera, blah. Hilaire is also not a great name. Let's go with fair and balanced.
Does everything appear to be in order?
Yes.
Good. Welcome to the Beyond. I am Bera. One half, anyway.
She points a finger in the direction of the dwarf who led you here. Though the movement is slight, her gauntlet squeaks like a rusty hinge. The dwarf's rictus returns as he nods in the woman's direction.
Tell me, do you remember when we last met?
I think so. I pledged myself to do your bidding in exchange for your aid.
And though you could have broken your pledge when you defeated Theos at Sun and Shadow, you did not. Admirable.
Theos Ixacanon was a member of the Engwithan civilization and Grandmaster of the Leaden Key, an organization devoted to keeping the secrets of the gods. Having allied with the goddess Wudica, Theos possessed the power to recall the memories of all his past lives, making him one of history's most notorious schemers. Well, Leto II wants to know your location. From Dune, sequel. He was killed by the Watcher of Kaednua, bringing an end to the Deerwood's Hollowborn crisis.
She delicately places a card on the table. A bell in a tower. Her fingertips slowly drag away from the card, faintly creaking as they retreat across the table.
You had need of the gods once before. Now it seems we have need of you. The being that occupied Odnua's statue beneath your castle was the dead god, Eothas. Of this we are certain. What we do not know is what his intentions are.
As a powerful Engwithan tyrant, he went mad after the death of his son Maros. Because he knew there were no gods to ensure he would be properly reincarnated, he dedicated his life to carving a massive statue of his son out of living Ardra, with the intention of drawing Mara's soul out of the beyond by force. Odnua was defeated through the efforts of other Engwithan tyrants who buried him with his work. In later centuries, colonists built a castle of the ruins and named it Kaednua. Like the ruins themselves, Kaednua was considered cursed. Eothas, or Eothas, god of rebirth, redemption, dawn, spring, and light. Traditionally shown as a man bearing a candle and wearing a silver crown, believed to have possessed the body of the red Saran farmer Waidwin during the Saints' War and been destroyed along with Waidwin at the end of the war. He recently reformed his essence in the statue of Maros Nua beneath Caed Nua. In the process of pulling himself from the endless past, he destroyed the castle and left the Watcher of Caed Nua at the brink of death.
Though Eothas stole a large fragment of your soul, you were strong enough to survive the onslaught and enter the in-between.
The in-between refers to the shadow world, that souls briefly wander after death on their way to the beyond. It has been described as a hazy landscape, empty but for the glow of other souls, Edra and Watchers. This is the space that Watchers peer into when they observe and speak to lost souls and soul fragments. Even the gods cannot reach it.
You and he are still connected. He has chosen a body made of living Audra, perfused with the power of thousands of souls, including yours. It should be little difficulty for an experienced Watcher to find him.
Am I dead?
No, but neither is your body truly alive. Your lungs draw breath, your heart pumps blood, but your flesh is as soulless as a hollowborn. That is, until I return you.
She delicately places a card upright on the table. The art depicts souls flowing out of a pillar of Audra.
Well, I'd like to find him as much as you would. He destroyed my castle and killed who knows how many people around it.
I know. It is my business to know. 322 in Caed Nua and your surrounding lands. Their souls remain in Eothas still. You have the power to save them. Serve me and I will return you to your body. Or don't, and return to the wheel.
What happens if we return to the wheel? I'll take the wheel. Wait, what? We can do that?
Unfortunate. This will prove much more difficult without someone of your unique talents and circumstances.
She raises her gauntleted hand and gestures to the dwarf hovering at the periphery. The dwarf nods, the supernaturally wide smile returning to his face. He gestures for you to follow him.
I'm on second thought.
Good. Before you return to Aora as my herald, you must remember who you were, the last whisper of life in death.
For a moment, the sockets of her eyes darken, leaving the pits of a death's head gazing out at you.
When you can picture your own face, the Beyond will lead you back to your own kind, to the world of mortals.
So, we can play female, male. We're going to play male. The place of man in society varies from culture to culture. In all societies there are exceptions to the rule, and man can be found in a wide variety of stations and professions. A woman's role in Era is largely dependent on where she is born from. Okay. Next. Race. Ah, okay. So we have sex and race. Aumauar. The mighty Aumauar are the largest of the Kith races and are commonly found in or near oceans. The word Kith is used to describe the dominant civilized races of Aora, including humans, Aumauar, dwarves, elves, Orlans, and godlike, so non-humans. Though not truly aquatic, they have an affinity for water, and many of their civilizations, such as Rau Atai, are based on naval dominance. They are known for their unparalleled strength. The powerful naval kingdom of Rau Atai is dominated by coastal Aumau and ruled by Rangi Nui. This definitely feels like Dune. When you first read Dune, there are 6,000 words you do not know. There's entire compendium, appendix where all of these new words are explained, these fantasy words. Currently the most prosperous of the old empires, Rauatai has expanded aggressively into the Deadfire archipelago to secure natural resources that are scarce in their native storm-torn land. Though folk, dwarves and orlans can be found in Rauatai, most are merchants or remnants of the old kingdoms Rauatai conquered when they seized power centuries ago. Legends say that the Rauataians came to their lands from the Deadfire archipelago in the wake of a terrible cataclysm, but the details of that event have been lost to time and the imagination of storytellers. We have dwarfs. By virtue of land covered and number of colonies settled, dwarfs are the most well-traveled race in the world. They are commonly found in the Dirtwood, the Vailian republics, and almost any colonized land. Dwarfs are known for their great strength and tenacity. Elves. Elves are the dominant race in Aer Gleinfa, and the white that wends and are extremely common in the Dirtwood and Aedir. Elves are known for their speed and intelligence, as well as a commonly isolationist nature. How does a female elf look like? That's beautiful. That is ridiculously beautiful for an ancient game. I mean, this doesn't really feel like a modern game. The graphics are a bit outdated, but never mind. Aer Gleinfa, a territory comprised of the forest southeast of the Bael River, populated indigenously by a group of loosely affiliated tribes collectively known as Gleinfathans, and governed by a council of its 6 most powerful tribes. Aer Gleinfa is home to a large number of ruined Enwithen sites, which Gleinfathans hold sacred. The ruins have been at the center of a number of large-scale conflicts with Dirtwooden colonists, whose settlements often encroach on Gleinfathan territory and who frequently seek to plunder the ruins for their relics. The white that wends. A large, cracked southern expanse of polar ice. The white that wends is home to pale elves and small colonies of daring explorers, outcasts and adventurers. While virtually no plant life grows in the white, it is home to many hardy species of dangerous animals that forage from the sea or prey upon each other to survive. Godlike. The godlike are children of the Keith, who have been blessed with physical aspects associated with the gods. Though some do not consider it a blessing, while they look ridiculous. These aspects may take many forms and often come with mystical powers. Apparent head shapes are typical, and godlike are unable to wear protective headgear as it is near impossible to find anything that fits. Because of their unusual nature and their inability to reproduce, godlike are often viewed with fear and wonder. Yeah, that looks better, but still looks ridiculous. Human. Humans, commonly called folk, the most common race in the Dirtwood, the Aedir Empire, Old Vailiar and the Vailiar Republics. Though not as large as the towering Amauar, humans are known for their strength and willpower. Old Vailiar was a sprawling and culturally rich empire with Vailian colonies settling far north and south of Aer Gleinfa. However, problems with the empire's Aediran expansion efforts, along with a steep economic decline, led the Vailian colonies to secede 2641 AI, establishing themselves the Vailian republics, a confederacy of allied city-states. For the next century, Grand Vailiar collapsed into Old Vailiar as more and more nobles and their retainers fled the empire, many of them immigrating to the Deadfire. Initially trying to survive as merchant ships, these immigrants eventually descend into piracy as their trade networks decayed and were taken over by nascent Valian and Rauataean colonies. And the Valian republics. The Republic. A mercantile power and former colony of a larger, more ancient nation, Old Valia. The republics lie to the south of Deerwood and Aeglainfa, and are ruled by a duke elected by the Consuagli Azegia, a council of 14 dukes, including its 5 most prominent, the Dukes' Beats. And we have Orlands. They are the smallest of the Keith races, though many cultures don't consider them to be civilized at all. Also notable for their large ears, two-toned skin, and hirsute bodies. Orlands are commonly found in Aeglainfa, the Xamital Plains, and parts of the Deerwood. They're known for their mental intensity and sharp senses. Yeah, we're going to play humans. For a moment, I thought about playing Dwarf or Elf, even though we would have played Female Elf, because he looks ridiculous. We're going with a normal what? No. We're going with a normal human male. Human. Subrace. Oh, there are subraces? You serious? Oh my goodness. You know what, we're going to read through all of these, but that's a story for the next episode.